So hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. I would like to welcome you all to this live session. I'm Samit. I head the product marketing at Septus, and with me is Ratish. Hey Ratish, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Sambit. Thank you. I'm the product owner. I head the entire engineering department in terms of the product development. Thank you, Sambit, for this.
Right. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important, you can say, factor in archiving, which is compliance and security. We got a lot of requests. We got a lot of suggestions, like we should have one webinar on this particular topic. So today is the day we are going to talk about how data archive ensures compliance and security while archiving your Salesforce data. So there we go. Before we begin, let me give you a little background about the company that we work for, what exactly we do, what kind of products and service we have, so that you will get an idea. So we are Septis. We are a pure play Salesforce platform focused company. We have been into the Salesforce ecosystem for over 12 years now. So when it comes to Salesforce, we are into multiple Salesforce partnerships. Like we are an ISV partner. We have multiple applications listed on the App Exchange. We are an SI partner. We are an MSP partner, PDO partner. We authorize resellers. So these are multiple Salesforce partnerships that we are into. Uh, Coming back to few of our achievements, we are one of the winner of last year's Partner Innovation Award for ISV Innovation. Then we are also an APAC Partner of the Year award last year. That is also for the ISV innovation. Now, coming back to the products and service that we have, what exactly we do as a company. So we are having multiple services. We have over 10 services in Salesforce that we offer, which includes Salesforce cloud solutions, like whether it's Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Pad Industry Cloud. So we are into everything. Now, coming back to the second thing that we are an expert in doing, we are an App Exchange product development specialist, that is into the PDO partner. We build enterprise applications for big enterprises. We have built a lot of applications for various business domains. Now, coming back to the third part, we are an expert in offering Salesforce managed service. Now, coming back to the product part, as we can see, we have two flagship solutions, Xfile Pro and Data Archive. Let me talk about Xfile Pro first. Xfile Pro is a Salesforce file management applications where you can manage your Salesforce files in your external storage systems. The second app is a document generation app. It's an automated document generation application. Now, the flagship solution that we have is Data Archive. Data Archive offers three applications under its brand. Two are archiving application and one is backup. Now, this particular webinar is on Data Archive. So let's start. What exactly we are going to talk in the next 20-25 minutes. So last 5 minutes we will be open for any Q&A, so that we can take your questions. So first we are going to talk about data archive in Salesforce, then the role of archiving and compliance management. The topic, how archiving helps in managing in meeting your compliance policies. Third, we are going to talk a little bit about Data Archive, the overall application, what it does, and all what kind of benefit, what kind of features it has. And the last point, 6-page Data Archive is ensuring a compliance and security part. So there we go. The first thing, data archive in Salesforce. Now coming to this particular topic, let me just give you three different aspects, like why you need to archive your data, how you are going to archive your data, and last, your best practices. What should be the best practices while planning for any archiving implementation? First question, why? So there are obvious reasons, but we will categorize into four parts. First thing, optimizing your storage usage. Like Salesforce data grows faster than you anticipate. So you need to optimize the storage. That's why you need to have an archiving solution. Second, minimize the storage cost. As you must be knowing, additional storage cost in Salesforce is pretty expensive. So archiving will help you to prevent that cost. Maintain performance when you have the data which you need in your Salesforce, or obviously your overall application performance will be enhanced. It can be maintained. Now the final thing is security and compliance. Now this is related to the topic, like a lot of companies want to retain data for a long period of time so that they can meet their compliance or maybe internal data policies. So because of that, you need archiving. Now coming back to the next question, how am I going to archive my data? What are the options available? So basically, if you see, there are three options. One is big objects, which is within Salesforce. Big object is Salesforce big database storage system. You can archive your data from your data storage to big object storage. Now we are the only ISP which is currently offering archiving, Salesforce archiving on big objects. Then coming back to the second option, what you have, external cloud. Now I can say, okay, I have AWS, I have Azure, I have Heroku. Can I use it to archive my Salesforce data? Yes, of course you can. We allow you to archive your Salesforce data by using your own cloud systems to your preferred maybe database like it's Postgres or MS SQL, MySQL, anything. Third option is on-premise system. Now there are a lot of companies who have already their on-premise system, on-premise infrastructure set. So you can use that also to archive your Salesforce data. Now the main thing, what could be the best practices? How can I ensure that I'm going to get the maximized ROI from my archiving investment? So first thing, you need to have a long-term data management strategy. At least you need to have a 5-year data management strategy. Like you need to predict the amount of data you're going to generate in the next 5 years. How are you going to manage it? Second thing, you need to have a strategy or maybe a system in place which can help you to monitor the usage trend, like which objects are contributing the most in your Salesforce data flow. Third part is optimizing your storage space. This is very important. How are you going to optimize your storage space? The fourth point is the right tool selection. This is the critical part when a lot of companies evaluate a lot of application where they need to find which app is going to give me, can meet my archiving needs. Final thing, which is very, very critical, you need to have 100% control over the data. We would suggest not only the data, you should have 100% control over the data, over the process, over the platform that you're going to bring, everything. Now, next, how archiving is important for compliance. The role of data archiving in compliance management. So here we go. Top things to consider. These are the 6 top things that you need to consider while planning your overall archiving for compliance. First thing, long-term data retention. This is very important. Like a lot of companies archive, they say for long-term retentions. Second, archive location. This is also, as I already said, you have multiple options, but you need to find the options which your compliance is allowing you to choose. Third thing, you need to have a seamless access to all your data. With your live data, you need to have a seamless access to your archive data as well. Then the fourth point is on-demand restoration. A lot of companies want to restore the data back from the archive location to the live one. This is one of the critical part where you need to have the your app should be able to do this. Then the fifth point is the data integrity. You must be having a lot of data integrity. Like for example, complex object relationships. So this is also important. Now, the final point, where if you are following GDPR or many of the other compliance policies, you need to have this particular thing right to be forgotten. We are going to talk about more this in the next slides. Now, presenting you data archiver. What is data archiver? As I have already told you a little bit about data archiver. Now, let me give you a little more insights. Like as I say, data archiver is most probably the best archiving solutions available today because of its futuristic features, because of the options it gives to you, and obviously because of the things that you're going to do achieve beyond archiving. So currently we give you a lot of options to archive your data, whether you want to archive it within Salesforce using big object, or you can bring your any of these external cloud platforms. Also, you can use your on-premise systems. So now let us talk about how data archive ensures security and compliance, which is the main critical aspect in archiving. So I would like Ratish, you to please explain us, please take us through what kind of capabilities data archive has in order to ensure the security and compliance.
Thank you, Sambit, for the beautiful insight in terms of data management and what are the best practices in terms of managing the data as well as adhering to the security and the compliance needs. So, as Sambit was talking about the data archive as an application, this application helps business in all aspects. When I'm saying all aspects, be it a security aspect or the access control or the proper management of the data or the compliance need, we take care of all the needs. We take care of all the business need and we give a solution for the business that will help them manage the data properly. So let's see how our application helps business in 6 different ways in terms of achieving this. First is encryption. In today's world, security is the key. Security, how secure you are, how secure your system is, how secure your data is. And the first step towards it is to encrypt the data. All the critical information, the business details that you store in your business records or business object needs to be secured. And this security shouldn't be there only for the day-to-day business activities, but also for the data which are archived into the archive system. And we believe in that. And we came up with a feature called encryption in our data archive application, wherein business can choose some critical fields during configuration, wherein they can be encrypted even after archive. It can be any business fields which stores critical information, maybe like a credit card information or a social security number, which are very critical and this never needs to be exposed. It shouldn't be exposed. So with this consideration, we provide additional capability in terms of the encryption. Encryption always comes up with a key, and that key should be secure when you're talking about encryption. And how we are securing the key? One is we are keeping it in the protected custom settings of the Salesforce ecosystem, and we are allowing business to retrieve that key on a regular manner so that the key is never compromised at any given point of time. And we use the standard encryption standard of AES 256, which helps build a strong encryption for the business. Second is 100% native, big objects. Data Archiver offers you to archive your business data into the big objects, which is a Salesforce offering. You can archive your data into the big object using our application. Since it is the Salesforce offering, it is within the Salesforce ecosystem. Your data never moves out of the Salesforce ecosystem. As I said, the Salesforce data is not moved out of the ecosystem even after archive. That is where there is no API calls happening outside of the ecosystem. That is where we are considering our application as US government cloud ready. We have multiple different government cloud customers using our application and they are happy since there is no API calls happening outside of the system. No data exposure to our platform. Your data will remain in your system. We don't own your data. It will be under your infrastructure, into your own big object system. Perfect for compliance-driven industries. When I'm talking about compliance, you need to store it in your ecosystem. When business thinks, no, my data should not leave my ecosystem and should be stayed in the Salesforce itself, and it should be stayed for a longer period of time. Can I do it? Yes, you can do it using our application Data Archiver, which archives into the big object. Intelligence. As Samit was talking about, what are the best practices? One of the point of the best practices is how you need to identify which is the object that is occupying your data storage. We give a beautiful UI wherein business can choose the object of their need where the data growth is more. You can choose the object to archive. You don't have to come again and again to the application and start the archiving process. No. You set up the archiving schedulers. You can set up a daily schedule, hourly schedule, weekly schedule, or monthly schedule based upon your data growth. Exclude compliance data from the archive list. Business wants to exclude those data which are constantly in need for the compliance need into the system and archive those data which is not in the compliance data. So we are giving a policy where we can set up the policy has the fourth point is also related to that. Archive based upon retention policy. Based upon certain policies of the data, you can set up the archive policy. So whenever the schedule runs in terms of the archiving, it takes that data, that set of data to the archive system. When the business grows and they are constantly using our application, there might be a need where they want to edit the archive data as well. That is where business wants to bring the data back into the system. That is where we are giving an option to click on restore. One click restore is the capability of our application. Salesforce as an ecosystem always has a very tight in terms of child relationships and the integrity of the data. So in terms of master detail relationship or be it a lookup relationship, data archive application adheres to all. Even after archiving, this relationship is constantly maintained. Real-time data visualization. Say, for example, you are archiving all the cases related to certain account. And when you're viewing that particular account, the archive data can be seen right under that account. That's the real-time data visualization. And you can view the data, you will feel the visualization is same as it was there before archiving. The exact user experience before archiving, we maintain that user experience, and it is always real time because it is attached to the real time unarchived data. Purging, right to be forgotten, was the topic, was the point which Samit mentioned in terms of GDPR compliance. Purging is one of the feature which helps business in terms of that. Purging helps business to purge those data from the big object itself. They can delete the data based upon certain condition from the big object and achieve this where the business comes or the end user comes and asks them to delete their data from all the systems that they are holding, be it archive system or the backup system. They want to delete it. That is where RTBF data comes into the picture or the GDPR compliance policy. And that using this purging feature, we effortlessly meet the GDPR and compliance policies needs of the business. Data management, which is critical. Make sure as one of the point in the best practices, all your data ensures all data is not in one place. Because when you're managing the data, when the constantly the business is running, they don't want the unused data to be shown up hitting the business regularly. They want to segregate those data. How can I do that? That is where our application helps them to make sure the unused data and the used data are segregated and they are not in one place. It is there in the archive system and the live data is there in the Salesforce ecosystem. Salesforce events. It can be any events, be it a system audit trial, field level audits, all can be captured or archived into the big object storage using our application. No additional maintenance cost. When I'm talking of data archiver powered by a big object, there's no additional maintenance cost in terms of the infrastructure as well. Using the big object capability, it remains and there is no additional infrastructure that you want to maintain or add cost to your business. 100% ownership is very critical because we always believe business data should be owned by the business itself. It shouldn't be there with any other vendor or any other third party. And that is where our application gives, we as a vendor, gives you the integrator between the system, between your Salesforce system and the archive system. And it is your system and it is your database that you hold the archive data as well. You own the complete data. Finally, and not the least, this is very critical in terms of data management or all the archiving needs, that is access control. How? Because Salesforce as an ecosystem always have a criticality in terms of accessibility, be it a field level accessibility or an object level accessibility or record level accessibility. It can be your profiles, user permissions, it can be anything. Business has set up based upon the business need. And they want the same accessibility to be maintained even after archiving. That is where Data Archiver as an application helps business to maintain their accessibility or visibility even after archiving. They protect the data visibility and access. Archive data viewed to only authorized users. No other users. You can set up the policies, you can set up the accessibility based upon your need. Rules of Salesforce profiles and permissions sets applicable to the archive records as well. Even after archiving, the set of rules that you have set up in terms of profiles and permission set adheres to it. That is where the access control is maintained. So considering this all 6 points, Data Archiver helps business in terms of all the areas, be it data management, be it storage cost, be it the application performance, or adhering to security and compliance needs. Data Archiver is an application that helps business in all aspects of data management. Now, let's move on to my favorite session, that is a Q&A session.
All right. Thank you, Ratish. Thank you for the awesome, the way you explain the features, how Data Archive is helping customers to ensure the compliance and security. I hope you guys understood it well. If you have any questions, you can let us know. But before that, let's open the Q&A. I can see a lot of questions. Let me pick few of them. The first question for the day from Evan. What would be the least price for big object storage? I think Ratish, you can answer that.
Yes. So the lease price goes, it's like $12,000 annually for a 100 GB SKU. So, considering that, when you're talking about a lease price, it can be negotiated in terms of the Salesforce. But as our offering, the Data Archiver is an application which also offers business in terms of archiving into the big objects. That is one point of it. Also, it helps business to archive into the external RDBMS as well. So when I'm talking about the pricing in terms of the external RDBMS, it is much cheaper than the big object. So we are giving business and options or the various different options in terms of the pricing or in terms of the storages that they can utilize based upon their cost, based upon their needs. It can be whenever you're talking about the external archiving or external databases, it also adheres to your needs of reporting, analytics. You can put in your multiple analytics on top of it. You can have reporting done. You can merge the reports. You can have use your legacy Tableau system or a big object onto your onto your archive records as well. And using all this, it has very less cost in terms of the cloud storage, that be it AWS storage services or Azure system. This is much cheaper than the big object storage, but as a it can others to it can vary from business to business because the need of the business changes because in terms of, as I said, the government cloud customers, right? In terms of government cloud customer, they don't want to move the data outside of the ecosystem. Yeah, there is an option of big object which comes under this lease price, and that can be negotiated. There are businesses, they are good, they have their own infrastructure, the verticals, technological verticals in terms of Azure or AWS, which they can leverage, and the cost is much cheaper. So it all depends upon how you're moving the data, where you're moving the data. That is where the ROI is, your the business can get down.
Thank you, Ratish. I hope Evan, you got your answer. So I'll take the next question from Andrea. Does any API limit would be hit using Data Archive application?
So when you're talking about, as I said, big object is a Salesforce offering, and it is there in the Salesforce ecosystem itself. So the API limit is never hit. It is all the SQL query that runs in terms of the DML operation, be it inserting the data or deleting the data, whatever the operations, whatever the transaction happens in terms of archiving, it's all under the SQL system. It's not going outside or doing any API to get the data. It's all inside it. API will come into the picture when we have other offerings in terms of archiving into the external storages. That is where the API limits will come into the picture. But in case of big object storage, the API limit will never be a problem for the business.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ritesh. So we have only 2 minutes left. So I think I'll take the final question for the day. It's from Dan. How Data Archive complies with the governance limit within Salesforce? I think this is a very good question.
Right. It's a very good question. So, in terms of the governance limit, when you're talking about, as I said in my previous question, that if you're using the big object for your archiving needs, the entire process that runs is inside your Salesforce ecosystem. Be it a batch process or a scheduling, whatever happens is inside the Salesforce ecosystem. So the limit that is set by the Salesforce ecosystem is always hit in terms of the governance if you are using a big object. Since all the apex limit, be it apex limit or a scheduler limit, will be consumed when you are using archiving into the big object. But as we have multiple options in terms of archiving into the external storage itself, what we are offering over there is the entire engine of archiving resides outside of the Salesforce system. So all the batch processing, all the heavy duty work of archiving, copying the data, inserting into the tables is done outside of the Salesforce system. Even for that matter, the scheduling is also taken outside. So even the 100 scheduled jobs that you can do into the Salesforce system, that is also not a problem. You can schedule as many as jobs outside because the entire scheduling prospect is taken outside into the application server, where you can set up the schedules. You can set up n number of schedules on a single object as well. We are giving multiple options. So considering that, all your if you are moving based upon your business need, if you're moving the data outside of the ecosystem, there are multiple benefits in terms of governance limit or Apex governance limit, be it a scheduler limit. It will never be a problem for the business. But if you are using the big object as an option, yes, there would be a hit in terms of the governance.
All right. I can see a lot of more questions, but I'm so sorry. We are running out of time now. But I can assure you that we are going to reply to your questions through email IDs. You're going to get the answers by tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's the end of the session. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. It was always amazing hosting these kind of webinars. So probably next time we are going to come up with some other topic, maybe related to other products like X Files Pro, or maybe related to data archive or backup. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much, Ratish, for joining us. I hope to see you soon again in
Thank you.
another
Thank you,
topic.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.